Hi, hello, and welcome to our new goddess class for gods and goddesses who want to step into their power and create perfect health and wealth for themselves. My name's Jacqueline, and I'm going to be your teacher. And I'm going to show you how you can lose weight without buying a bunch of diet food and a bunch of exercise. Yes, you heard that right. I'm going to show you some secrets. I'm going to share some secrets with you that I found out these last few years that I can no longer keep them to myself. So each week, I'm going to post a few more items for you to digest and so that you can make some changes, okay, in your life. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my slides with you, okay? All right, so here we go. So, welcome to the Goddess class, Secrets for Health and Wealth. So, you might ask, why this class, Jacqueline? Why are you doing this class? Well, think about most people you know. A lot of them are sick or on some kind of medication. If they're over 50, they're usually on meds, and this is not okay. I remember when I went to the doctor, the nurse asked me, can you list down the meds that you're on? And I said, I'm only taking vitamins. And she looked at me like she couldn't even believe it that somebody of my age wasn't taking any medication. What is that telling you? We eat foods out of metal cans and plastic containers. This food is loaded with preservatives and salt. You wonder why people have high blood pressure. There is a connection, you know. Not to mention the stress from family and work. At work, what do they feed us at our business meetings? Bagels and donuts. What kind of brain power is this food giving us? Unfortunately, 90% of what they taught us about food is a lie. Now, remember the food pyramid? You are what you eat. So, we're going to take a look at this healthy food pyramid. Back when we were in grade school, we learned about this food pyramid and we were told that we should eat everything on this food pyramid and that everything on this food pyramid is good for us. That's what they said. But as we get older and we find out and we learn, some of these items on here are not very good for us. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to break your heart, but bread happens to be one of them. So let's start at the bottom. Bread, cereals, and potatoes. So here you've got a bag of rice. Yay! Rice is good. Why? Because rice is natural. It grows just like you see there. It's not manipulated. Next, we're going to look at the waffles, the pretzels, the croissant, the roll, the loaf of bread, sourdough bread. Mmm, so tasty. The problem with that is that it's gone through too much processing. And when the wheat and the barley goes through all this different processing, different things happen to it. And once it hits your system, something else happens to it. So when they put all these additives and make your bread, and then you eat your bread, the bread goes down into your stomach, your stomach, and it just stays there. It just sits there. So if you have a sandwich on Monday for lunch and a sandwich on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, you're just loading up on that bread over and over and over again. And you're not allowing your body to burn it off. Bread has a tendency to grow in your stomach, so to speak. It like puffs up, it expands in your stomach. And it takes about 2 to 3 days for your body to burn off those two slices. So my suggestion for you is to cut back on the amount of bread that you eat per day. If you're used to having that sandwich, maybe you might want to have an open face sandwich and only have that one slice. If you're having bread for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, then you're really not giving your body a chance to burn that off. So when it comes to bread, cake, donuts, waffles, try to cut back on the amount of your intake. Okay. And that also goes for pasta and spaghetti for the simple fact that it's processed. Also, the thing about bread is once you digest it and it hits your bloodstream, it basically turns into sugar and it turns into sludge. So if you wonder why you've gotten tired after you ate that big bowl of spaghetti, or you wonder why you're so sleepy after you had that big, huge, yummy sandwich with that big sourdough roll, it's because that bread is hitting your bloodstream, turning to sugars and turning to sludge and slowing you down. I'm so sorry I have to break your heart. I love bread, but bread is not your friend. Sorry. On here, I do think this is a potato down here, and we are going to talk about brown potatoes versus red potatoes as we move on to the next slide. But let's move up a little bit to the fruit and the vegetables. So over here, I've got some mushrooms. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Mushrooms actually is a great meat alternative for my vegan and vegetarian friends out there. Okay, and then you've got your strawberries, your raspberries, which are awesome. Any berry that's dark red or purple or blue are great antioxidants, and you should definitely leave them in your diet. This cucumber, yummy stuff, good for you. This tomato here. Ooh, boy, that tomato there. We're going to talk about that tomato on the next slide. Yes, we are. Oh, we've got a lovely piece of broccoli here. Healthy. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Did you know that broccoli is GMO? I just learned that myself. Broccoli is GMO. So it's been altered. I'll just let that sit with you for a moment. Mushroom, eggplant, blueberries, delicious. Bell pepper has its place. An apple a day does try to keep the doctor away, but you should also back it up with some blueberries and raspberries, okay? Then we think we've got some peaches and oranges. Awesome. All right. I'm going to save the dairy and the cheese and the meat for next class. So let's go back and see and talk about these breads. Bread, the cozy comfort food. Eat a lot, just add a pillow to your middle. I'm sorry. So look at this lovely collection, of all those breads and buns. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And you can just, you know, slice them and make them into a sandwich, or maybe you want to put some cheese. Next class. Anyway, I put the pillows here to really ram home the idea that the more bread you eat, the more you're going to have a pillow around your middle. So if you can't stand it and you have to eat bread, do so and enjoy every piece of it. But the next day, maybe cut back. Okay. This is something that you can really do that'll make a great impact on your weight. Cut back on your bread. All right. Next slide. Now, what foods on the food pyramid are healthy? Ask yourself that. And which foods make us fat? Well, you've got some potatoes and tomatoes. What do you know about them? Grains and beans. What do you know? So there's some really interesting secrets that I found out about tomatoes and beans. So let's get into that now. So beans, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, first we have garbanzo beans. Garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. These are the beans that they make hummus with, and they are very low in calories and they are extremely healthy, and you just can't go wrong with them. So if you're not best friends with Mr. Garbanzo Bean here, you need to get a new best friend, Mr. Garbanzo Bean, Mr. and Mrs. Garbanzo Bean. Let's skip over to the refried beans. Highly calorific, highly calorific. Okay. Not to mention, they put a little cheese in them when you get them at the Mexican restaurant. I love Mexican food. Yum, yum, yum. But these beans will make you fat, period. There's no way around it. They stick to your middle and they stay there for 2 or 3 days. Black beans are a better alternative. They are not as calorific, but garbanzo beans are your best bet. So lately, since I've learned these health secrets, I can basically look at people's shapes and I can tell you what they've been eating. So when you see a person that they just, especially a woman, they just go straight down to their hips. Yeah, no curvage, eating too much beans or too much bread. If that's you, cut out the beans. Cut back on your bread religiously, 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight, and you will see a curve starting to come back. Okay? The good, bad, and the ugly. Garbanzo beans, your new best friend. Now, on to tomatoes. I positively, absolutely love tomatoes. They are so delicious. Well, tomatoes and their enemy seeds, friend or foe. Now, this particular information I actually got from Dr. Gundry. He said that when we GMO'd our tomatoes, sorry, those tomatoes that we were raised on, the big ones, yeah, the beefsteak tomatoes, yeah, the big red ones, the hothouse, I'm sorry, they're GMO. And when they were GMO'd, they accidentally weaponized the tomato seeds. So when you slice that big fat tomato and you eat the tomato seeds are actually your enemy now. Because what they're doing is once they get into your system, they hold on to weight. It has something to do with lectins. I'm going to save that for another lesson. What I want you to know from this slide is that big tomatoes are GMO and their seeds are weaponized to retain weight. And if you're a salsa lover like I am, you have to beware because some of the salsa has the seeds in them. Okay? So I'm not saying that you should never eat salsa again, but I'm just saying that you should probably cut back. One way that I cut back on my salsa is I just switched up and had a guacamole dip instead for a little while. Also, when I'm sharing that you should like cut out these type of beans, that you should cut out a lot of bread, that maybe you should lose these seeds from the big tomatoes, you don't have to do it forever. You just have to do it long enough till you get your weight down to where you want it to be. And then you can reintroduce these things back in your diet. Have them in moderation, right? Now, I hope I haven't broken your heart too much about these tomatoes, but I do have some good news. The small tomatoes are not weaponized and they're not GMO. So go for the cherry tomatoes and the grape tomatoes, the small ones, okay? And their seeds are just regular old tomato seeds, like Mother Nature intended them to be. Thank goodness. All right, let's continue. So you might ask yourself, how does Jacqueline know all this? Well, how do I know this stuff? Because my body tells me so. A few years ago, it was not my intention to lose weight. I actually was having a skin irritation on the bottom of my foot that actually moved to my other foot and then on my hand, and it was horrible. I would show you a picture, but if I show you the picture, I can't unshow you the picture, and it is hideous. One other class, if you make me show you, I'll show you, but it was horrible. And so I went to the doctor over and over and over again, and they gave me prescription on and on and on and on until I had a stack of prescription of medicine that I tried that didn't work, not to mention the amount of money I had to spend to go to the doctor and to pay for all these prescriptions, which gave me zero help. So what I ended up doing, I finally realized that it must be something I'm putting in my mouth. That's the only way I could explain those lesions on my foot, and they were ugly. So I basically pretty much stopped eating everything. And then I reintroduced food back into my diet. And in doing so, I found out all these secrets. So back when I was having my skin issues, I was a size 12, 13. So this sweater shirt that I have on here is an extra large, and these pants are size 12, 13. I haven't showed this picture to anybody for the simple fact, look at my gut right here. I thought I was cute. I saw this, I was like, I can't show this to anybody. Then, now, these pants are size 8. And I'm wearing a small. Huge difference. And I didn't do a bunch of exercise. I don't really like going to the gym. I mean, I like to walk the dog and things like that, but hard workout, it's not really my thing. And I love food, okay? So I'm going to share the secrets that got me from here to here with you. So, oops. All right. One more item to mention for today's lesson, timing. Now, this particular information I actually got from Hugh Jackman, who plays Wolverine on X-Men. He had some article I was reading, and he talked about timing. He said that you need 16 hours that your body needs to be free of eating food so that you can properly digest the food that you've eaten. Well, I realized that 16 hours is really a long time. I couldn't handle it. So I put it down to 14. So I stopped eating around 9 p.m., although I do like, right before bed snack. And then I don't have breakfast. I don't have breakfast, actually. I have like a brunch somewhere between 11, 11:30, 12. Okay. So that way your body needs to have at least 14 hours free of food in order to properly digest and burn those calories. This is a big deal because even though you try all the other things, if you keep eating all the time, all the time, all the time, you're not going to lose weight. But if you stop and take this break here, the weight's going to fall off you. That's what happened to me. And if it happened to me, it can happen to you. All right. So, what did we learn today? What is one thing that we can do different this week? Cut back on your bread, or at least pay attention to your bread intake. Pay attention, know what you eat, okay? Cut back on your bread if you possibly can. Check out those beans, or at least realize if you're putting beans in your diet and how much you're having. And then also the tomatoes. Watch out for those vicious, weaponized tomato seeds. And then lastly, the timing. Timing is everything. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to message me and I'll get back to you. You also need to create an affirmation for yourself. That's something that I also did for me. I mean, it doesn't have to be something big. I would just say, I would wake up in the morning and say, thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Cosmic, for my skinny and sexy shape. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But you have to believe it when you say it. And you also have to believe that it's already happened. So if you're sitting there and you're size 18, every single morning you get up and you thank whatever God that you love for my skinny and sexy shape, and it'll happen. It took about a year for me, I think, for me to feel great. All right. What is your affirmation going to be? I want you to know that I'm going to keep these classes very short and to the point because I know everybody has such a busy, busy schedule, okay? So you can click on, get the information, take a couple of notes, go through your week, try to remember, cut back on your bread, cut back on your beans, watch those weaponized tomato seeds, watch the timing, make that affirmation for yourself, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. I love you all.